Hey there, science fans. Have you ever wondered what stuff is made of? Like, what makes up your chair, your water bottle, or even you? The answer is matter. Matter is anything that takes up space and has weight. That means everything around you, from the biggest planets to the smallest ants, is made of matter. Now, matter isn't always the same. It can exist in different forms called states. The three basic states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. Think about water, for example. Ice is water in its solid state. The water we drink is in its liquid state, and the steam that comes from a boiling kettle is water as a gas. Each state of matter has unique properties that make it different. Let's dive in and explore each state more closely. Get ready for some amazing science. So, we know that matter is everything around us, but what makes up matter itself? The answer is tiny particles called atoms. Imagine the smallest thing you can possibly think of. Atoms are even smaller than that. You can't even see them with a regular microscope. Atoms are the building blocks of matter, like tiny Legos that make up everything we see and touch. They're so small that millions of them could fit on the period at the end of this sentence. Even though we can't see individual atoms easily, they play a huge role in determining the properties of matter. The way atoms are arranged and how closely they are packed together determine whether something will be a solid, liquid, or gas. Get ready to explore the fascinating world of solids, liquids, and gases. Let's take a closer look at the three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. Solids, like rocks and ice, have a fixed shape and volume. Their atoms are tightly packed together, like people on a crowded train. They can't move around freely, which is why a rock stays a rock and doesn't suddenly change shape. Liquids, like water and juice, have a fixed volume, but not a fixed shape. Their atoms are more spread out than in solids and can move around more easily. That's why you can pour a liquid from one container to another and it will take the shape of its new container. Gases like air and helium have no fixed shape or volume. Their atoms are super spread out and move around very quickly, bouncing off each other and the walls of their container. That's why a balloon filled with helium expands to fill the entire space. Whether something is a solid, liquid, or gas depends on how much energy its atoms have and how strongly they are attracted to each other. Stay tuned to learn how matter can change from one state to another. Section 4. Matter on the move, changing states. Hold on to your hats, science fans, because matter isn't stuck in one state forever. It can change from one state to another through processes like melting, freezing, evaporation, condensation, and sublimation. These changes happen when we add or remove heat energy, which affects how fast the atoms move and how closely they are packed. Melting is when a solid changes to a liquid. Think about ice melting into water on a warm day. Freezing is the opposite, where a liquid turns into a solid, like when you put water in the freezer to make ice cubes. Evaporation happens when a liquid changes into a gas. When you boil water on the stove, it turns into steam, which is water vapor, a gas. Condensation is the opposite of evaporation, where a gas changes into a liquid. Have you ever noticed water droplets forming on a cold glass of water on a humid day? That's condensation. Sublimation is a really cool process where a solid changes directly into a gas without going through the liquid state. Have you ever noticed that dry ice, which is solid carbon dioxide, seems to disappear into thin air? That's sublimation. These amazing transformations show us that matter is dynamic and constantly changing around us. Pretty cool, huh? Section 5. Properties of matter and changes. Now that we've explored the states of matter and how they can change, let's talk about the properties of different materials. Each material, whether it's a solid, liquid, or gas, has unique characteristics that determine how it behaves. Some materials are hard, like rocks and diamonds, while others are soft, like cotton balls and feathers. Some are flexible, like rubber bands, while others are brittle, like glass. Some are transparent, like water, while others are opaque, like wood. We can also classify materials based on whether they are biodegradable or non-biodegradable. Biodegradable materials like food scraps and paper can be broken down by microorganisms in the environment. They're like nature's recyclers. Non-biodegradable materials like plastic and styrofoam take a very long time to break down, and some may never decompose completely. Understanding the properties of different materials helps us use them wisely and make responsible choices for our planet. We can also talk about the changes that matter undergoes. Physical changes are when the appearance of a substance changes, but its chemical makeup stays the same. For example, if you freeze water into ice, you've caused a physical change. The chemical makeup of the water hasn't changed, but its state has. Chemical changes are when a substance changes into a completely new substance with a different chemical composition. Think about burning wood. The wood reacts with oxygen in the air and creates ash, smoke, and other byproducts. That's a chemical change. Isn't it amazing how much there is to learn about matter? Keep exploring and asking questions, and you'll unlock even more secrets.